What if I told you the most important country inside the entire AES alliance is not Mali, not Burkina Faso, but Niger? And if the real struggle over Niger was never only about democracy, terrorists, or military coup, because once you looked carefully at the map and once you understand who loses influence in Niger fully locked into the AES, the entire Sahel crisis start looking completely different. In fact, there are arguments that the moment Niger joined Mali and Burkina Faso, the balance of power in West Africa quietly began to shift. And that may explain why so many powerful countries suddenly became deeply concerned about a landlocked Sahel nation. So stay with me for a few minutes. By the end of this video, you may see Niger very differently than you did before. And once you see it, you really can't unsee it. And before we go deeper, look at Niger on the map and tell me in the comments, do you think Niger became too strategic, important for outside power to simply walk away from? And if you follow African geopolitics and sovereignty issues like this, subscribe to the West Best Media, because this conversation is only getting bigger. Now, let's look at Niger strategically, not emotionally, but strategically. Niger borders Algeria, Libya, Chad, Nigeria, Benin, Burkina Faso, and Mali. Now think about that carefully. Niger sits between North Africa and West Africa and the deeper Sahel corridor. Trade route crosses near it. Military route crosses near it. Intelligent route crosses near it. Everything important in the Sahel begin to intersect around Niger. So when people ask, why is Niger suddenly so important? The real answer may be, Niger was always important. Most people just never paid attention before. For years, Niger became one of the West's most important military position in the Sahel. Drone base, surveillance operation, counterterrorism corridor coordination, and foreign military presence. Why? Because whoever maintained influence in Niger gained visibility across a massive section of Africa. But then something changed. Niger moved towards Mali and Burkina Faso, and almost overnight, the geopolitical map shifted, because now the AES was no longer fragmented. Now it becomes connected. One continuous strategic zone stretching across the Sahel. And that may be the moment many outside powers realize something dangerous. AES was no longer just a reacting to pressure. It was becoming a geopolitical survivability. Because once Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger become strategically connected, isolating one country becomes much harder. And this is the part many media outlets barely explained. So if this breakdown is shaping or helping connect the dots for you, hit the like button, because these conversations are becoming more important by the day. But the military angle is only one part of the story. The deeper issue may actually be psychological, because Niger joining the AES changed perception across Africa. Before Niger aligned with Mali and Burkina Faso, many people viewed the Sahel crisis as isolated instability. But after Niger joined the AES, the conversation changed. Now many Africans begin to ask a dangerous question. Can African states survive outside traditional Western security structure? Because whether people support AES or oppose it, the question now is spreading across the continent, and that may be what outside powers are watching most closely. Not just border, not just the weapon, but the political mindset changing underneath everything. Because once the population begins to believing in independence, it's actually possible. The geopolitical landscape changes far beyond the Sahel. Without Niger, AES will still exist, but it looks smaller, more isolated, more vulnerable. Niger changes all of that, geopolitically, strategically, and psychologically. Niger connects the alliance, expand its reach, strengthens its logistics, and strengthens its legitimacy. And maybe most important, Niger transformed AES from a security alliance into something much larger, a sovereignty movement. This is why Niger matters, because this is no longer just about insurgency or border securities. This becomes a battle over who shape the future of political direction of the Sahel itself. So maybe the real question is not why Niger is important. Maybe the real question is, why did so many powerful countries care so much about keeping influence there in the first place? Because once Niger shifts, the entire regional balance start shifting with it. And if the AES survive long term, historians may eventually look back and say, Niger was the turning point. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Niger is now the strategic backbone of the AES? Or do you think the pressure against the alliance is only beginning? Drop your thoughts in the comment. And if you want deeper breakdown on African AES sovereignty and the geopolitical shift reshaping the continent right now, subscribe to West Media, because the story unfolding in the AES and the Sahel is far from over.